Hello and welcome to Raising Your Dream to Tell Child series. My name is Toyin. This is exclusively on how to raise the emotionally intelligent child. Background: Emotional intelligence, EQ, is a word that has been used over and again as a major key to success and fulfillment in life for every class and strata of human beings. It has been used by HR, education, in the corporate world, in the classroom, and every area of life as a tool for total success in life. So, what is emotional intelligence? It is basically the ability of a person to express, manage his or her emotions, at the same time respect the emotions of others. So, emotional intelligence is an ability and it's a very vital life skill. It involves the ability to notice, the ability to understand and act on feelings effectively, using feelings as a tool to maximize their goals and their potentials. So, why do we need to raise a child that is emotionally intelligent? A child with high EQ. 1. Emotional intelligence has been traced directly to mental wellness. Mental health is traceable to high emotional intelligence, because when someone has high emotional intelligence, their social skill is intact. With that, they are able to manage issues and manage situations around them effectively, which makes them be on top of their mental wellness. Emotional intelligence is also traceable to leadership skills, strong leadership skills, because when people you work with, when people in a team see you as someone that can understand how they feel part time and can relate with them from that point, then they will conveniently and easily relate with the person. And of course, submitting and following the direction of such a person becomes easy. High EQ also help young people develop healthy relationships. They can foster healthy relationship and keep it going as long as it remains healthy for them. For every emotional situation, for every expressed emotion, irrespective of who is expressing it, three major things happens to it. Three major things. The first is repression, the second is aggression, and the next is expression. Repression. Repression happens in situations where a child is not permitted, where a child is shut down from expressing himself or herself, from expressing how he or she feels about a situation per time. So such a child grows up to do same thing. When he's when he's having a feeling, he's used to repressing it by going to drink it over, by watching a movie to push it down, just do something to fill up or to satisfy the dopamine. That way, the feeling is repressed. However, when life throws curveballs at them, something happens. These repressed emotions, these unattended emotions, they burst out. And when they burst out, it looks like, wow, there's always a mess. There is always a mess. And such a child, when they grow to become an adult, they repeat the same cycle. Then we have hurts, we have people that are not healed. Aggression is when an emotion is being shoved down the throat of others, whether they like it or not. When someone else's emotions, when their feelings is being done, of course, always unattended to, but their own way is to shove it down the throat of others without regulating it. The third and the most appropriate way to respond to feelings and emotions of a child is expression. Allowing our children express themselves and letting them feel okay, that it's okay to feel what you are feeling. Do you understand? So one thing we must do for our children is help them name their feelings, help them name their emotions, what they are feeling per time. It goes a long way in helping them develop emotional intelligence. Do you understand? Helping them name their emotions. And there is a law in emotional intelligence. It's called name it to tame it. An emotion you cannot name, you cannot tame. Because you cannot trace anything. You have light knowledge about it. It's important to state here that emotions is the fuel behind everything we do. It's the big why behind all our actions and inactions. So it's important we state it. And one thing we must know is that parenting is an emotional journey. Your child does brilliantly well, excellently well, you're overwhelmed with joy, you can start crying. And we have a report that is not too good from a child's school or whatever they belong to. What happens? We are disturbed. We might go into shedding tears and all that. So parenting is an emotional journey. So we cannot take this part of emotional intelligence out of our relationship with our children, out of our grooming of our children. And one thing we must be conscious of is the fact that every interaction carries a feeling. Every interaction with human beings come with a feeling. And there's something that is called feelings dump. Emotional dump. What it means is everybody has a baggage of emotions they are carrying about. And they express it they tend to carry, since they carry it about, we see it in their words, we see it in their actions, we see it in their courage, their movement, and every aspect of their life. And because they express it in everything about them, and they carry it about, and when interacting with such a person, if you don't have a hold on your feelings, what happens is they tend to dump it. We tend to pick up. Do you understand? There's a transference. That's why it's called emotional dump. There's a transference of that feeling. I'll use an example to make that clear. Have you been in a place where there's so much positive energy and all that? All of a sudden, somebody comes in with a bad news. Do you understand? What happens? The entire atmosphere changes. Do you understand? The person has come with a dump of an emotional baggage and has transferred it to that environment, and that environment has picked it. And the same way, apart from people, environment have their feelings. Every environment has a feeling that comes with it. Of course, it's always traceable to the feelings of the people around that place per time. And that's why we need to be very intentional in our relationships, in our movements. And we should teach our children to do the same. Especially this aspect of emotional dump, such that they hold on to their emotions as much as they need to empathize with others. it's important that they be on top of their game when it comes to their emotional intelligence. So, how do we help our children develop emotional intelligence? How do you raise the emotionally intelligent child? The first is become emotionally intelligent. Yes, that's the primary thing, because emotional intelligence is something we mirror. It's not maths nor English that is a subject. It's not a subject. It's a daily lifestyle. Do you understand? So it is not possible for you to raise an emotionally intelligent child if you are not one. That's the downside or the uniqueness of EQ here. Do you understand? It is not possible, because if you cannot show a high level of self-awareness, being able to express yourself within limits, being able to self-regulate, being able to build appreciable social skills and, bond when necessary, then there is a major issue here. So it has to be modeled. And the only way you can model something is what you have. You can't say you're a model of a particular fabric when you've never worn that fabric. It's not possible. Or designer, sorry. So it starts with you as the parent. Emotional intelligence is one aspect of our life that we need to keep evolving in, because we are emotional beings. There's a way our emotions enter into every aspect of our life. And I'll tell us that it starts from self-awareness. Do you understand? Being conscious of now. Because oftentimes we get carried away with a thought. Before we know it, we start acting in a way without knowing where it came from. Not knowing that it came from that thought. Not knowing that it came from that image that just flipped across your screen or your device. Not knowing it came from the picture of an old schoolmate that you suddenly saw. Do you understand? And with social media, a lot of things happen in our lives that we don't know where it comes from. If we are not self-aware, if we are not living in the now. So, being able to capture each moment will help us become more self-aware and trace every emotions to certain situations, and being able to call our logical parts to bear. Be in the area of judging that emotion, in the area of analyzing it and asking ourselves, is this actually worth it? Maybe an old schoolmate that was nasty and all of it. So what do? You suddenly see the person's picture and somehow your anger is aroused in you. Do you understand? And possibly the person was saying something in that, or shared something in that light, showing that the person hasn't changed. Maybe you had a personal confrontation, a personal issue with the person, and obviously from what you saw, the person hasn't changed. If you are not careful, you capture an anger from there, a form of angry emotion from that post. Do you understand? So not being self-aware will make you carry it. But if you are self-aware, you would ask yourself, that's where the logical part of your brain comes to bear. Why should I be angry? Of what benefit is this anger at this moment? I don't have anything to do with him, things like that, or with the person. So there is actually no need. Being angry, I pray God change him if you can go to that extent. Do you understand? Name it to tame it. That's the second one. We've mentioned it briefly in the intro. We need to teach our children to be able to name their emotions. Name how they are feeling part time. When you can name it, it becomes easy to tame. it becomes easy to manage. Do you understand? So help our children. There are emoticons. That's what is being used to teach young people about how their feelings, about being able to express how they feel. Do you understand? So when they have that feeling, they can say, oh, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling disappointed, I'm feeling hot. They will be able to like say it. And there's something with saying, verbalizing how we feel. It puts a knife on the throat of their emotions. When you verbalize it that, oh, I'm feeling so angry now, it puts a hold on that emotions ravaging the whole of a child. So it's important we help them learn to name their feelings. When we do that, it keeps a level of pause on the ability of that emotions to overwhelm. Do you understand? It saves them from getting overwhelmed by that same feeling, because naming it keeps it tamed to a very reasonable extent. Awareness of their feelings. Be aware of their feelings. That's a very, very important way to help our children become emotionally intelligent. When children are acting up, when they are showing emotional instability and all of it, one thing we should do is sit back and find out. Find out what exactly it is. Let them express how they feel. A situation is different from how a situation makes you feel. Do you understand? My ball was busted, or my balloon was busted. So the event is a busted balloon. The feeling is anger. The feeling is hurt. The feeling is disappointment. Do you understand? So it's important, as children are reporting situations, let's help them name that feeling. Do you understand? Such that when they can overcome their emotions, then from there we can begin to help them fix. Because being able to help them become aware of their feelings will help them, like I said earlier, put a stop. So as they can express, as they can feel, as they know that they are feeling, what they are feeling is valid, is acceptable, is normal, then what we do is we provide a solution that would help change the feeling. So helping fix, the quick fix is not the solution, because emotional intelligence goes beyond logic. At the beginning, it starts with that emotions, acknowledging that emotions, acknowledging that feeling, telling that feeling you are correct. Because if we go ahead and fix without giving attention to the emotion, something happens, which is repression. Something happens, especially when that feeling is not validated. Where you tell the child, what exactly is your problem? Is it because of balloon that you are making noise like this? Take another balloon. The child gets the balloon, but the emotion was killed. That feeling was not properly channeled, was not properly dealt with, was not properly managed, and it becomes an issue in the future. It could be repressed. It could be addressed in an aggressive manner, but it was not properly. So telling the child, oh, are you feeling this way? Oh, I understand you. So I'm so sorry about that. You are feeling this way. However, let me do something to make you happy. What about this and this? What do you feel now? Okay? So next time you do this and this that way, such that you don't get into this kind of feeling on this same matter. Do you understand? So it's important we, as much as logic comes to play in emotional intelligence, but what comes first is that same emotions being acknowledged, being validated, being expressed in a way that it feels safe to feel that way. Empathy, yes. Empathy is a very strong tool in EQ, and those are the reasons why a parent must model EQ so that they can be able to pass that same thing down. Empathy is trying to feel what another person is feeling, and is one of the 4 cardinal points of emotional intelligence. Do you understand? 4 cardinal points of emotional intelligence is, one of them is empathy, being able to understand the feelings of others, being able to trace why that person is feeling that way, and not just to fix why, but being able to understand why. That's why I said earlier that our emotions are the big why behind every action, behind everything we see outside. Our emotion fuels what we do. People can go the extra mile to feel good. Do you understand? They can go the extra mile to be in the midst of people that make them feel good, in situations that makes them feel good and fulfilled. So it's important we straighten this out. So empathy is knowing how a person feels, knowing the emotions running through the other person, and being able to help them, support them in coming out of it. Not really coming out of it, but letting them know that this feeling is valid. So empathizing with our children is very important in raising them to be emotionally intelligent. Because if all we do when they are highly emotional, or when they seem overwhelmed, is be overly expressive, and just try to shut them, or try to just fix things, what happens is they know that this emotion, somehow they may not be able to say precisely, but they know something is wrong. That's why we try to fix something for a child comes with you with a challenge, and we try to, all we do is fix the challenge, and we don't fix the child. That's what happens. So that way we are not really empathizing with the child. That situation brought a feeling. That challenge brought a feeling. Do you understand? So addressing that feeling as much as we're trying to address the main issue, because that feeling, if it doesn't go, that's why sometimes excuse me, sometimes we help after fixing the issue and not fixing the feeling. Nothing changes in the expression of the child. That's the time we try to tickle them and say, smile, smile. What we are telling the child is, your feeling is not valid. Just tell me you are happy. Do you understand? At least I've changed the situation. That feeling should go just like that, without being acknowledged, without being validated. So validation is a very important part of empathy. Validation goes along the journey of emotional intelligence. I want to mention here right now that emotional expression, outbursts, feelings of being overwhelmed by children, by young people, is actually an opportunity for intimacy and teaching. It's an opportunity to bond with them. There's something with people that try to feel what you are feeling. You see them as someone on the same page with you. Like someone telling you, when you're trying to explain the situation to someone, and someone tells you, oh, don't worry, I've been there. Don't worry, I've been there. The person tries to express the feelings that goes with that experience, with that situation. what happens? You feel at home. And that's exactly what capturing opportunities of emotional outbursts, capturing such opportunities for intimacy, for teaching, and for bonding with our children. Because at that point, you have a listening ear, your heart is open, you feel a fellow comrade. Do you get? You have this feeling of this person is a fellow comrade with me, and he or she seems to have gone ahead of me on this journey. You get? And that's why it's important we take advantage of such times. Let's try to, that's why I said we need to model it. Let's try to express our own higher EQ in such situations. When children are throwing tantrum, when children are expressing how they feel, irrespective of their age, let's not shut them down and say, push, keep quiet. I have told you earlier, at the time of emotional outburst, logic does not play. Logic has nothing to offer. Yes, because if it does, without acknowledging, what we do is we fix the problem without fixing the feelings. And it's not a sign of emotional intelligence by you, the parents. Yeah, another important thing here is help your child discover ways to solve problems and challenges. One thing that goes along with emotional intelligence after validating feelings is acknowledging, is bringing the logic to bear, and that comes with problem solving skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, and of course problem solving skills. So let's help our children develop their ability to solve problems. It takes away some of these emotions. It takes care of some of these emotional outbursts before it actually happens. Do you understand? When a child knows how to do something, they don't get overwhelmed by it. When a child is faced with a challenge, he's not running there to save the face, not running there to, no, because we will not always be there. But when they can learn through experience how to face such challenge, what happens to them is the fact that they can face such a challenge without getting overwhelmed another time. Because situations will always come, things will always happen in their lives and around them. Problem solving skills through critical thinking will help a child say, okay, this is how I'm feeling at this time. How did I get in there? And how can I come out of it? Not enough to feel this way and keep myself in this feeling, or try to run away from the feeling, try to repress it. No. How do I come out of this situation after acknowledging the feelings it came with? How do I take myself out of it? How do I get delivered and free from it? So those are problem solving skills. What exactly is the situation? Do I need help from outsider? Can I get this done myself? Do I need support in any way? Do I need any resource? When a child can think through the situation and experience a challenge in these steps, they will be able to help themselves. They will be able to develop the technical, the tact, and the skill to become the emotionally intelligent child. Taming emotions is another way to help our children develop emotional intelligence. Taming emotions, like if you tame an animal, you do something with that tamed animal. And that's the peak of emotional intelligence. Being able to divert that emotions, what that emotion comes with. I had an experience. There was a company I was relating with. Do you understand? So there was an error in their product and they owed me that product. I keep following up with calls and all of that and all that. So one day, something else got me angry. and I just took that anger mood and I took it there. And lo and behold, we've been on this thing for months. That day, I got my product back. Do you understand? So, every emotions come with some type of energy. Do you understand? Some come with pleasantness. Some come with they come with different things. Being angry or being sad about a situation, about what maybe somebody told you you're not good enough. What should you do? Rather than sulk, and what you should do is divert it in improving yourself. Do you understand? So, taming an emotion is not just holding it down. The next phase, which is the peak of emotional intelligence. So, helping our children divert their emotions. Do you understand? After validating it, coming out of it logically. So, help them. This feeling, what can you use it for? So, taming your emotions is using your emotion for positive causes rather than fold your hands and allow it to overwhelm you. Do you understand? So, let's guide our children to this level. It is the peak of emotional intelligence. And like I said, we keep evolving. Emotional intelligence is something we keep exposing ourselves to. And the more they can handle this, the more they become vast in every aspect of emotional intelligence. Finally, I want to fully consider the pillars of emotional intelligence. The pillars of emotional intelligence. What are the major pillars? Self-awareness or self-consciousness, self-management or self-regulation, social awareness, then relationship management. So self-awareness is the ability to recognize how your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs influence what you do and how you do your things. So living a conscious life. Do you understand? Being able to carry yourself from the phase of not knowing enough about you to the phase where you know enough to be able to predict. You sit down, you recognize patterns, you check through events, you check through the way you have done things in the past and why you did it that way, and being able to come to a conclusion. Yes, there's still a lot of things that are evolving about you, but one thing is, when you live a self-aware, a self-conscious life, you will be able to understand yourself and be able to carry yourself into situations with that consciousness, and it becomes a guide to helping you do things better. So it's about your ability to know yourself, consciously tuning in and picking things, the way you do things and all. A good example is while working on this project, I discovered that I get bored, I get distracted early if I'm trying to sit down and read without doing any action beyond reading. So what I do is, but if I'm talking, I am penning things down, it keeps me focused for a longer period of time. So what I do is, as part of my own strategy, is consciously work myself into, okay, I read or I'm passive for certain number of minutes. I am passive and active for a certain number of minutes. Then I am more active for a certain number of minutes. That way, it makes me become more productive rather than get bored, get distracted, and trying to force myself on the path of passive reading. I inculcated active reading into my activities. Even if I'm trying to research on something, I try to inculcate one or two activities that is related to that thing that I'm doing, talking about it, reading about it, watching a video, penning things down and all that. Rather than what I used to do, I just screenshot information and try to extract directly. But that seems faster. However, my productivity is reduced that way because I get distracted and I get not to good results with such method. That is self-awareness, and it leads to self-improvement. It leads to helping people understand you, guiding yourself on how best to maximize your capacities and all. So we move quickly to self-management. Self-management is self-regulation. They are behavioral control processes, the ability to inhibit, delay responses, flexibility, shift and adapt, maintain emotional control to achieve goals, and direct behavior. Do you understand? So those are the processes to keep the behavior intact. As you understand yourself, you create a system that helps you take charge, that helps you not be a victim of activities you are doing. Do you understand? It helps you. So when we can help our children understand these things, it starts with tuning in, understanding pattern, and now creating processes, systems. A good example is what I just shared. Creating systems, creating control strategies that helps to achieve goals and redirect behaviors. Social awareness or social consciousness. That is also an ability. Everything about EQ is ability, yes. It's the ability to consider the perspective of others, empathize with others, not minding the difference in culture, the difference in belief or orientation. So, being able to groom ourselves into a social setting, understanding others. Now that you understand yourself, then you take time and understand the flow of others, the perspective of others, the opinions, their beliefs, because we all are coming from different backgrounds, and different things have shaped us into who we want to be, who we are now. So, being able to understand them and flow with them on the basis of your understanding of who you are is what social awareness is. The relationship or relational management is the fourth and final pillar of emotional intelligence. This has to do with the ability to communicate clearly, maintain good relationship with others, connect with those from other cultures, work well in teams, and manage conflict. I love the final part of it because you cannot take conflict away from human relationships. Conflict does not have to do with a total breakdown of relationship. No. But when these differences become big, differences in opinion, differences in emotions, differences in perspectives, when they become huge, then conflict comes up. So how do we manage all of these situations? And that's what relational management. So being able to clearly communicate, maintain good relation with others, connect with those from other cultures. Do you understand? Different backgrounds, coming from social awareness. That's why it's a process. Work well in teams of different people, different backgrounds, different culture, and manage conflict when they eventually come up. Emotionally intelligent child. It's about you, the parent. It's about you